Now, election campaigns are a great opportunity for average members of the public to send letters to political leaders to tell them what we want. And given I'm in Canberra at Parliament House and about to have a tour of the mail system, I thought I'd take advantage of the opportunity. Dear Mr Howard, we know that as a long-time motoring fan, you would be concerned if Dimensions on the Move was axed from the ABC's programming schedule. For the sake of our jobs, we ask that lifestyle television be elevated to an election issue. P.S. I enclose a powerful stripy tie to assist you on the hustings. I've written exactly the same letter for Mr Beasley, except he gets a powerful orange tie. Right, let's go post these babies.
I walked away from Parliament House for about 1 kilometre to find a mailbox and then back again to see the packages hit the mailroom. From here, the ties are in for a ride. They're sorted and allocated to what the locals call a document movement system. Shifting magnets are switched on the front of the document movement system cars, which designate particular mail stations. Then the cars are launched and the ties propelled into the corridors of power.
It's not that far. Would you like to see some more? I can show you if you'd like to.
With my packages safely on their way, I asked the man who oversaw the installation of the DMS system during the 80s why it was developed.
As you're probably aware, the building is the equivalent of 4 skyscrapers laid flat on the ground, and therefore in an ordinary skyscraper you just go straight up your lift, deliver your mail 5 yards and it's there. Here you can be 600 metres away from where you're going. Now, that can wear out a fair lot of shoe leather, so the thought was in the design stage we needed efficient means of moving small parcels. Well, the document movement system basically is a track which is electrified, and you have a small car on it which will take a couple of A4 reams of paper inside it, up to 9 kilograms. And the track is just energised. When it gets to a station, power is cut off, the magnets are read by a little switching station and it says, oh, it's going to X, so it changes it from one track to another, just like a set of switches in a railway tunnel. So the car is done. You know, it has no smarts at all. It's just a box with a little washing machine motor underneath that picks up power off the track. And that's it, and 2 magnets. So we've got 27 stations in total on 7.2 kilometres of track and 113 cars. Doesn't break down, no tea breaks, no lunch breaks, doesn't go to the toilet. Why not?
But systems have got to be maintained, and at the moment that job still falls to a lunch break taking, bathroom going human being called Rodney Charles.
Rodney, can you explain one of these to me?
This is the drive unit out of a document movement car. Very similar to a slot car. It has 2 power rails and an output rail which provides its position to the mimic panel and the switching equipment. It has 2 drive wheels, a rubber wheel for the horizontal and a cog wheel for the vertical.
So that's the thing that keeps it on the track, is it? This cog wheel?
It's actually the 4 side wheels of the drive unit which are encased into the track profile to prevent it from coming out of the track.
It sort of locks it there.
Locks it in, yeah.
And you can give us a guarantee that my tyres will be getting to Mr Beasley and Mr Howard?
Through the track system, yes, definitely.
Very important, I think. Important for fashion and politics. Rodney, what happens when the cars collide?
They touch bumpers, making a circuit between the 2 cars. The back car will stop and the front car will travel along still. This unit's our vacuum cleaning car. It's used for vacuuming. There's 7 kilometres of track around the system and does all our dirty housework for us.
Sort of like nags all the other cars, does it?
It does, yes.
The overhead DMS system has a maximum of 9 kilograms per car. So for very large packages, they're taken around in these tugs. So for example, had my tyres been very wide 70s tyres, they may have ended up in the back of one of these.
The electric tugs zoom around the basement, and on sitting days the traffic can be amazing. And as for how they find their bearings...
We basically just chose one street out of each capital city and territory and named the various corridors in the basement, because when we arrived we found people were sort of getting lost down here who didn't work here all the time, so it's a lot easier if they're told to turn left on Pitt Street and right onto something else.
Meanwhile, high above Pitt Street, my tyres chugged on and on and on. before arriving at their final stations, the pigeonholes at the top of the nation.
And you know what happens to all the letters and papers that nobody wants? They're shredded up above in the building and then sucked through this enormous pipe system to be baled in the basement for recycling. And what upsets me is that when I was watching this come out of the baler, I'm pretty sure I saw a tiny skerrick of powerful tie.